Hey there, greetings everybody. Want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show. So tonight we're doing a new Prog album release. This is a show that I do every Sunday night. Tonight's album comes from a band called the Riffstone, or called Riffstone if you prefer. The album is Mythical Creatures. So there are 10 songs on the album, and they're all about mythical creatures. There's a surprise, right? So this album was released May the 1st, 2026. It's about 80 minutes in length because there are 10 tracks, each of them around 7 to 8 minutes seems to be the common number here. This is produced by Dave Allen and Colin Powell. It's on an independent record label. So the band includes Colin Powell, also of Multitude of One and Nova Cascade. Those are the two other bands he plays with. He does vocals, keyboards, guitars, bass, and a lot of the computer programming, as does Dave Allen, both of them doing the computer programming. Dave Allen from Spirigy, which we did an album of earlier in the year. He also does vocals, guitars, keyboards, and bass. All the drumming on the album is programmed drumming. It's actually not too bad for programmed drumming. I prefer a real drummer, but I guess they decided that's what they wanted to do. There's not a ton of imagination to the drumming. It's pretty straightforward, but it's pretty heavy, consistent, and fits in the music fairly well. So overall, this is a very somewhat symphonic album, slow and melodic most of the time, but does have its fast parts. Its rhythm section is dominating, both the drum and the bass part together, creating that kind of catchy riff throughout the album. The guitar soloing is melodic, slow-paced, nothing outstanding, nothing terribly memorable when it comes to the guitar parts, but all this stuff, along with some of the other instrumentation that they add in, is quite good. It's a reasonably solid effort on their part. So a total of, like I said, I believe there's 10 tracks on this album. All of them titled after the mythical creature that they are portraying in that particular song. So it opens up with a song called The Griffin. Nice keyboard opening here, pretty decent. Heavy rhythm section, fast paced with some mild sounds. Mild more in nature than actually in sound. The vocals are dry, mid-range, some high parts, but basically mid-ranged. Some nice keyboard parts with some spacey-like synthesizers. The guitar bit is okay. Prominent and somewhat melodic in scaling. Sorry. There are some angelical vocal parts. I assume that they are keyboard driven or synthesizer driven or programming. They've programmed in some almost angelical type vocal parts towards the end. Nice piano and keyboard part. It's very mild. And the bass at times is very frontal on most of the songs, I think. The next song out is called The Dragon. This one's a little under 7 minutes, so about a minute shorter than the previous song. Synthesizer and organ opening here. Got an almost church-like feel to it. Very operatic vocal parts, so it's almost like you're in a church where there's a choir. That's what it feels like. That may be the image they're trying to capture here. It's got a pretty heavy rhythm section part, which is good. Keyboards solo and the sounds are strong and dominant. Keyboard synthesizer driven track really is what this one is. The vocals are clear, mild, mid-range to them. Nothing really that spectacular. The next song is one of my two favorites on the album. This is called The Phoenix. A nice synthesizer kind of spacey opening. A nice acoustic frontal part. Gives a kind of a sad, forlorn feeling. Drums are mild. Sorry. There's a mild drum beat with kind of a melodic but kind of heavy, slow guitar part and solo. So the part, and then there's a little bit of a solo towards the back of it. The riff picks up and gets heavier, and the bass gets more prominent as the song goes along here. The vocals are a bit higher with a bit of a Geddy Lee almost feel to his vocal parts. So I know one of the two of them kind of has a Geddy Lee inflection to his voice. He's not high like Geddy Lee, doesn't overtly sound, but as soon as I heard it, that's what came into my mind. Pretty strong multiple vocal parts here. A final solo with some heavy melodic, but also metal-like guitar soloing. Probably the heaviest track on the album, and perhaps that's the reason why I like it so much. Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize I was this tired when I started out. Okay, so the next song is called The Hydra. One of the longer songs on the album, just under 9 minutes. It opens with a nice acoustic guitar part with some heavy rhythm sounds and synthesizers. So that's what drives the opening of the song. And you got a nice classical guitar sound and some symphonic background behind the guitar sound. The vocals are low, a bit distorted, not too clear, mid to low range. They're almost distorted. It sounds like they're trying to create that effect. The song is nothing outstanding. It's an okay track. So the back half, 6 songs on the back half here. The opening one of those is the Basilisk. The Basilisk, which is a mythical creature, obviously. They all are. This one's about 8 minutes or so in length, a little bit longer. Nice keyboard opening, synthesizers and symphonic sound throughout the opening. It does get a bit of melodic and slow-paced song. The vocals are low range, clear, and then mid-range, but nothing really outstanding or terribly memorable on the vocals here. Some nice up-tempo keyboard parts and kind of jump-up track. So it kind of jumps up to this more up-tempo beat and keyboard part towards the back end of the song. Then there's a kind of vocal part that's almost voice narrative-like. Nothing spectacular, just it's singing, but it's almost voice-like. Another one of the weaker tracks on the album. The next one up is the Manicore, which is a pretty decent song. Nice low acoustic guitar harmonies here with some flute-like keyboard sounds going on. The guitar picks up a nice clear melodic picking sound as well. The drums, bass are forward, a nice heavy rhythm section here. Most of the tracks have this on them. It's just a little bit more prominent here. Vocals are indiscriminate, not really terribly memorable here. The voice-like part, a dominant synthesizer, almost like a new wave type synthesizer here. It does get a bit heavier and almost a growl-like vocal part. It's the only one on the album, so it's pretty noticeable. So I think they're trying to capture this Manicore feeling. Next up is the Selkies. This is a strong, fast-paced piano part with a heavy rhythm section to accompany it. Then you got the vocals, which are raw, fast, and mid-range. Nothing spectacular, but different than a lot of the other songs. The guitar solo part is slow and pretty melodic. Lots of keyboard synthesizer sound to kind of fill in that gaps of noise in the background of the music, so it doesn't sound hollow or thin. The guitar soloing picks up towards the end of the track. So the next 3 tracks are pretty strong. So it's a nice pretty strong ending to this album. The Chimera is the next song. This song's just under 8 minutes. These back songs are all pretty long, 8, 9, 8, 7, 8, 7, all of them pretty long here. This one's just under 8 minutes. Slow melodic synthesizer part, nice keyboard parts with some drums backing parts. The track is very symphonic with some actually keyboard piano sounds kind of dragging in the background there. You got a nice heavy rhythm section dominated on this particular track more so than others by the drums. You got another slow melodic synthesizer driven guitar solo. This actually feels like it might be fed through the synthesizers. The vocals are a bit late to the game in this particular track, and they have a little bit more of that Geddy Lee inflection on them as well. So it sounds like one of the guys is more mainstream sounding and not too discriminate and not terribly memorable. The other guy has that kind of Geddy Lee sound to his voice. The next track is just over 8 minutes. This is the Leviathan. A slow, deep sound to open with a drum interlude part in there just to try and give some depth to the song. Song is pretty heavy, deep sound to it. Heavy drum and keyboard part going on that front half. The vocals are a little bit more nasally here, forward at times. They are the same voice that does the Geddy Lee, but doesn't really sound too much like him here. Some quiet flute-like keyboard part sound. I'm not sure if it is a keyboard or just a flute-sounding keyboard. Next up is the Unicorn, the final track on the album, and one of my two favorites on the album, along with the Phoenix. This one's a quiet, fresh sound. Keyboard parts are synthesizer driven here. A catchy rhythm section. It's got this little bit of a doo-wop vocal part where they're trying to do something like what Yes might do. A little bit of that here. The vocals are deep and nasally with a kind of background, milder voice here. They're not forcing it as much. It's actually kind of marshmallowy in some ways. The vocals are multi-layered, but they're not bad. They're pretty catchy. The song is a mild, almost poppy-like track. There's a nice use of the synthesizers during the track. So it's dominated by the synthesizers, but they're not overbearing or overreaching like they are on some of the other tracks. This one is kind of good. You almost don't hear them unless you're actually listening for them. So that's the final track, Unicorns. It's only 7 minutes in length. Pretty strong song. Probably the best track on the album for me, anyways. Between that and the Phoenix, I liked both those tracks. There's a bunch of, so I would say of the 10 tracks, I would say about 6, 7, maybe even 8 of them I really like. And there's a couple of weaker tracks that are not terribly memorable. So that's my take on this album by Riffstone, Mythical Creatures, with Dave Allen and Colin Powell being the members here. Pretty substantially good album, I think. I don't think these guys are exceptionally talented instrumentally. They have a multitude. They're multi-instrumentalists, so they have a multitude of skills here. I don't think it's like the album I did last week's, but it's definitely got some interesting sounds to it, and they've clearly tried throughout the tracks to make each song a little bit different so that they don't sound too similar. Anyways, that's my take on the album tonight. Please hit the like and subscribe. That's much appreciated. If you want to make any comments about Riffstone or about the album Mythical Creatures, you can do that. Or if you want to talk about anything I've said, you can do that as well. And we will see you all next week with a new Prog album as we're getting close to the time for Yes's Aurora, which will be coming out soon. I look forward to this. I haven't even heard anything from it yet. So, and I haven't watched any of the reviews on it because I don't want to be swayed one way or the other. I'll listen to it first and then make up my own mind. Thank you. Anyways, Take care. Have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.